Hey, hi, hello, and welcome. I am Court. This is Reading with Court, and today we are going to be choosing my May TBR. So, the difference between this month and last month is I have a TBR game this month. We'll have clips of that in a minute, but it's a little board game I made inspiration from Steph's Star Hop and some other things I've seen around the internet. But I'm really excited for it, and I'm really excited to see how my first month playing it goes and see if there's any tweaks that we need to make along the way. So before we jump into that, an update on my April TBR. I didn't finish it. That's the update. It was a 19 book TBR, and I had a lot happen in April that was just messing up my entire vibe. So I didn't finish it, and I'm not going to do punishment or anything because I hadn't started the game yet. I might do punishments from here on out just to add to the suspense of the game and kind of a motivation to complete the TBR that I choose. Stay tuned, and I'm going to be cutting clips together of me playing the game and then meeting you back here at my desk to go over the books that I choose. So here we go. Okay, so this right here is my TBR game. We have different colored squares that correspond with the different cards over here. So if I land on a blue square, I'll pick up a blue card. If I land on a red square, I'll pick up a red card. And if I land on one of these yellow and orange danger squares, I have to pick up a yellow card and come back to the start. The green squares are free pick, where I just pick whatever book that I want to read. And I'm pretty excited to see how this goes. Also, a little more detailing on the card colors and what they need. The blue are more like positive prompts, easier ones to achieve. The red are not necessarily negative prompts, but harder prompts and ones that I would be more likely to put off. And then the yellow are ways to pick things off of my physical TBR because I own a lot of books and I need to start reading them or continue reading them, I guess. But okay, here's roll number 1. That is a 2. So 1, 2. Starting off strong, I get a free pick. So as you can see, the game decided to start with some good vibes, and they said, free pick, read whatever you want to read. Now this could be something I own physically, this could be something from Kindle, this could be just a book I've heard a cool thing about and I want to add it to my list. But the book that I have chosen for this prompt is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. This is the, I guess, 4th book in the Hunger Games series, but it's also the first prequel. This follows I believe it's the 10th Hunger Games, and it follows the story of President Snow. I have been rereading the series, and this is actually the first book that I have not read. It also fills a couple prompts for a few different things. This is a book I've been putting off, which is a prompt for Escape the Readathon, which I am reading for this year. Go Team Hackers. And it also works for a mini Princess Bride based readathon that a group of my friends and I are doing. And the prompt for May is Have Fun Storming the Castle, which is a book you've been putting off. And this is what won the poll pick for that. Next roll. That is a 1. The game really said, first try, we're going to hit every single square. Let's see. And the prompt is an Instagram recommendation. So next I got Instagram recommendation, which how I set that prompt up is I just kind of scroll through Instagram until I see a book that I haven't read before that catches my eye, and also that I can read. Like, it's not a series book or anything. So as you can see over here, I'm showing, me scrolling through my following on Instagram, and I landed on Any Trope But You by Victoria Levine. Now, this is a book. A best-selling romance author flees to Alaska to reinvent herself and write her first murder mystery. But the rugged resort proprietor soon has her fearing she's living in a rom-com plot instead in this earnestly spectacular debut by a stunning new voice. So this is kind of a story about an author who writes her own romance books, and now it almost seems like she's stuck in one in the long run. It's a contemporary romance, enemies to lovers, forced proximity, all tropes that I really do tend to enjoy. So I have already gotten this book on Everand, so I'll be listening to it on audio, and I'm very excited to see if this book is a 5-star for me or not. Roll number 3. I can't make this up. That's another 1. So 1. And let's see what the card says. I only have 1. A book with a 1-word title. Just fun little behind the scenes. This is my 3rd time trying to film this. The first, I tripped over my words. The second, my microphone collapsed. So here we are. My 3rd roll, I got blue card, and I got book with a 1-word title. And this will be a carryover pick from April. So I will be attempting to read Saint by Sierra Simone because I really enjoyed this trilogy and I want to finish it. So the synopsis says, I can't have Elijah Iverson. I can't have him because he's my older brother's best friend. I can't have him because I broke his heart 5 years ago, because he's now engaged to someone else. Someone kind and dependable who deserves his whiskey eyes, his soft mouth, his fierce intellect. I can't have Elijah because I've chosen God instead. I know in my heart that it would take more than a good and holy monk to resist Elijah Iverson right now. It would take a saint. And we all know that I'm no saint. So I'm excited for this. I was excited for it last month too, but just didn't get to it. So hopefully I can pick this one up and we'll see how it goes. Roll number 4. It's a 3. So we're picking up a little bit. 1, 2, 3. And then I don't think I really said this, but once I get here, then my TBR is complete. So this is another free pick. So I get to pick whatever I want off my physical shelves or just off of Goodreads or whatever. Roll number 4 is another free pick. And I will be adding When the Wolf Comes Home by Nat Cassidy. This is Mel and Cassidy's book club pick for the Not So Indie Archive. So I'm hoping to read this one this month. I did not manage to get to the April pick because I read the first book in the series and then it was suggested to me that I wait to read the second because they're very similar. And yeah, so I'm hoping to get to this one. But the synopsis says, one night Jess, a struggling actress, finds a 5-year-old runaway hiding in the bushes outside her apartment. After a violent, bloody encounter with the boy's father, she and the boy find themselves running for their lives. As they attempt to evade the boy's increasingly desperate father, horrifying incidents of butchery follow them. At first, Jess thinks she understands what they're up against, but she's about to learn there's more to these surreal and grisly events than she could ever have imagined, and that when the wolf finally comes home, none will be spared. This is described on Goodreads, at least, as a horror, thriller, fantasy, and mystery book. It will work really well for the genre blend prompt of escape. I'm excited to read this. I don't read thrillery books a lot, but pretty much every time I read them, I'm sucked in and enter my thriller era, so to speak. But yeah, so I'm excited for this one. Roll number 5. Roll number 5 said 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Red card. Randomize from Goodreads. Alright, so we are going to generate my next pick for randomizing from my Goodreads Want to Read shelf. I have 877 books on there right now, so let's see what we get. 524. So we're going to go to my to read. We're going to scroll down because right now it's 30 per page. We're going to change it to 100 per page to make our lives a little bit easier. Okay, and that loaded, so we're going to go to page 6. And then let's see. 524 is Cash from the Lucky River Ranch series. So, as seen in my randomizing clip, my next book is Cash by Jessica Peterson. This is a cowboy romance, and I haven't read a cowboy romance since I read Done and Dusted, which I adored. So I have high hopes for this one. It's a 4.10 on Goodreads right now. Synopsis says, butting heads leads to knocking boots in this wildly sexy enemies to lovers, grumpy sunshine, small town cowboy romance by Jessica Peterson. Now that sentence alone, I'm hooked and ready to read. I'm excited. I love a good, quick cowboy romance or any really quick romance. So I'm excited to add this one to the TBR. And, adding another series because apparently that's a thing that I'm doing now. Okay, I really don't want to get a 2, so we're hoping for a 1 or a 3 or higher. And of course, we got a 2. I shouldn't have said anything. 1, 2. So, Danger Zone. I have to do a poll pick for my physical TBR. We were almost at the end, and then I landed in the danger zone and went all the way back to the beginning. But before that, I have to do a poll pick from my physical TBR. So I gave in a Discord I have with a bunch of my friends who all do buddy reads together. I gave the options of Wild Love by Elsie Silver, Deep End by Allie Hazelwood, Heartless by Marissa Meyer, and The Pairing by Casey McQuiston. The Pairing got 0 votes, Wild Love got 2, Heartless got 3, and the winner was Deep End with 4 votes, and which would be 44% for those of you who like statistics. I do want to read all of Allie Hazelwood's books this year, and this is just another one to check off the list. Very excited for this. I mean, I was excited for it last month too, but that's a theme of the books I missed. I was very excited for them. I just didn't have time to get to them. But yeah, so Deep End. And now all the way back to the beginning. And roll number, whatever this is, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Another free pick. So at least by going back to the beginning, I got another free pick. And I am choosing Into Madness by Al Radin. This is a dark reverse harem retelling of Alice in Wonderland. I found this on a recent Stuff Your Kindle day, and I was very intrigued by it. So I got it for free, and when I got free pick, and I was like, I don't want another physical right now, I decided what a perfect time to read a book on my Kindle shelves. Even though we all joke, your Kindle shelves don't count. This is apparently the first book, too, in an upcoming trilogy. So if I do like it, that will be adding another trilogy. But I love retellings, and I love Alice in Wonderland. Roll number 8. That is a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Blue card says, finish a series. So next I got finish a series, which is perfect because I'm adding so many new series to my reading and I would like to clear some of them out. The book I've chosen is the final book in the Bridgerton series, which is On the Way to the Wedding by Julia Quinn. I've been slowly but surely working my way through the Bridgerton series, and I'm very excited to read this one and see where the story all ends up. Because I've enjoyed all 7 siblings so far, and Gregory's always been kind of funny in the background. And actually reading on Goodreads, one of my friends reviewed it, and she put, Gregory Bridgerton invented being a hopeless romantic himbo simp, and I'm even more invested in reading this than I was before. So, here's to having it on the TBR this month. Roll number 9. That is a 3. 1, 2, 3. Blue card says Goodreads recommends. Okay, so for Goodreads recommends, we're going to go to my last read book, which is Quicksilver. And we're going to find a book from this Readers Also Enjoyed section. So we have Onyx Storm, which I have I can't read yet. I'm actually currently reading Fourth Wing Phantasma, which I just finished. Spark of the Everflame, Metal Slinger, Rebel Witch, Glow of the Everflame, Lights Out, When the Moon Hatched, Heat of the Everflame, Anathema, Nocticadia, The Songbird of the Heart of Stone, The Songbird and the Heart of Stone, Deep End, Scythe and Sparrow, Heartless Hunter, The Book of Azrael, Blood of Hercules, Fearless, Feathers So Vicious, The Serpents and the Wings of Night. I'm going to go with Heartless Hunter because I got it in Book of the Month at one point and I own it physically, and it would help with reading down my owned TBR. So for Goodreads recommends, I have gone with, as I showed in the video, Heartless Hunter by Kristen Ciccarelli. So I feel like everyone knows this book at this point. It's a witch hunter romance, enemies to lovers, right there. Her deadliest enemy or her greatest love. I have an order in with Book of the Month for their edition of Rebel Witch, because if I can get the same edition, I would like to. And I'm excited to read this month and see what all the hype is about. And roll number 10, hopefully our last roll. That is a 1. And 1 brings us back to the danger zone. Spin the wheel. So for roll number 10, we went back to the danger zone and I got spinner wheel. So I put 4 books in the spinner wheel from my physical TBR. I put Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe, Ghosts of the Shadow Market, 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and Husbands. And as you can see by the wheel spinning next to me, the wheel chose Ghosts of the Shadow Market by Cassandra Clare. Now this is a thick, chunky boy, but it is an anthology of short stories in the Mortal Instruments, Infernal Devices, and Dark Artifices universe. I think this one is focusing a lot on the Dark Artifices characters, if I recall correctly, but I think it does include all of the universes, but this is the only anthology of her 3 that I have not read yet. I'm excited to travel back to this universe and see what some of my favorite characters are up to. Let's go back again. Roll number, I give up. 2. Another free pick. You can literally hear my stress increasing as I keep rolling and rolling and rolling. So I got another free pick, and I decided to go for a popcorn read, which is another Escape the Readathon prompt. And I went with The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. Now, I haven't read any Frida McFadden ever, but I've heard most people describe her stuff as popcorn reads, and for me, a thriller is kind of always a popcorn read. People know what it's about. You can look it up if you aren't sure, but it's a thriller, it's a mystery. It should be a fun time, and I'm looking forward to reading it. Roll number 12. 3. 1, 2, 3. Danger zone. Okay. Add 2 books, but don't start over. Why couldn't I have gotten this one at the very end? Another danger zone, but thankfully we don't have to go back to the start at least. So I'm adding 2 books to my TBR from my physical. The first is The Writing Retreat by Julia Bartz. This is a thriller that I got from Book of the Month in February 2023, apparently. So this can qualify as a book I've been putting off. So I've got another thriller added to the list. I know it's also one of Lexi's favorites from Books with Lexi. And in a month that's her readathon, it felt like a good time to pick it up. And then my other book for my pick 2 is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. This is another April carryover, but it's at least a short carryover. I love playing D&D, so it's kind of fun to see a book that basically feels like a D&D roleplay centric side quest. At least that's the vibe I get from everything I've heard about it. So excited to read this one at some point this month. Roll number 13. 1. Wait, hold on, wrong way. 1, 2, 3, 4. You guys can't see my face right now, but friend pick. Now you can see my face, and I'm just as defeated as I was when I recorded. So for my next roll, I got another Danger Zone. I got friend pick. I messaged one of my best friends, pick a book for me to read with no context. And she said, I'm going to put the quote here, Sunrise on the Reaping. I know you want to do the snow one first, but this one is so much better. So ironically, the snow one already is on my TBR, but the next book for my May TBR will be Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. Now this just came out in March. This is Haymitch's story, which I'm very excited about, especially since rereading the original trilogy. And the entire internet has been talking about this book for the last month, so I don't think there's anything I can say that you haven't already heard. So I'm looking forward to reading this, and I'm sure it's going to be a 5-star for me. Starting over, next roll. 3. 1, 2, 3. And that is randomized from my owned TBR. Okay, so I got randomized from my owned TBR. I have a random number generator up here, and I'm going to randomize from the 247 books that I have on my shelves. Some of the ones that are marked unread in my spreadsheet are technically read, but I'm counting them as unread for the sake of I don't remember when I last read them. So here we go. We got number 137. So we're going to jump over to my spreadsheet and we're going to scroll down. Oh, too far. 137 is actually 138, which is The Vile Village by Lemony Snicket. As this is the middle of a series, I will be reading The Bad Beginning, the first book in the Series of Unfortunate Events series. I already said what I'd be reading, but I will be reading The Bad Beginning by Lemony Snicket. Now, this is a short children's book. It'll be a nice one to just sit down one day after work and just burn through. The story is about 3 orphans who end up in the care of Count Olaf, who is a distant relative of some kind. I'm not entirely sure how he got involved, but it's the start of a 13-book series of just absolute chaos, and I can't wait to revisit one of my childhood favorites. All right, next roll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that is a Goodreads recommendation. So up next was a Goodreads recommendation where for me I scroll Goodreads until I see something that someone rated highly or I know they're enjoying or just something that's been on my radar. It's kind of the same as Instagram where I scroll till something catches my eye. But as you can see from the footage over here, as it scrolled through, my friend Andrea was reading the Never List, and she had been telling me, well, not me specifically, but telling everyone as she read it how much she had been enjoying it. And this is one I actually picked up last month, so it's newer to my owned books, but it would still be nice to knock it off the list. So I will be reading The Never List by Jade Presley. This is a Why Choose. The back says you're invited to the choosing, where you could win the heart of not just one prince, but 4. Wow, I haven't actually opened this yet. The inside is beautiful. And I'm not just saying that because of the men. It's also the art style. I know a lot of people in my circles have been reading it lately to a variety of different reviews, but I am very excited to read this. I'm excited to be able to, read such a gorgeous book, and hopefully I enjoy it as much as I think I will. Next roll. 3. 1, 2, 3. Another free pick. And my next roll was another free pick. So for this, I have chosen Heir of Fire by Sarah J. Maas. This is the next book in my Throne of Glass reading. Technically book 3, but because of reading Assassin's Blade, it is for me the 4th book. I have enjoyed all the books in this series that I have read so far, and I'm looking forward to reading this next book and also hopefully continuing and completing the series this year. Hopefully, this is our last roll because this TBR is looking chunky. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. TBR complete. And there you have it. That is my first round of game with no name. I'll figure something out later. These are all the physical books on my TBR this month. I can't even fit them all in frame, and holding them up right now is a workout. So we're just gonna slide those over there. I have all of those along with some ebooks, some audiobooks, and the total books on my TBR for May is 17. We're gonna see how I do, and I'm gonna start thinking about rewards and punishments for next month. But thank you for watching. I hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening wherever you are in the world when watching. And leave some sort of yellow orange emoji in the comments below if you don't have anything you really want to say to represent the dreaded danger zone and how it really beefed up my TBR.